A PhD student writes her thesis introduction herself. Every word over 4 months. No AI, no grammar tools, not even spell check. Her university's detection system scores it 67% AI generated. That's a true story from this month, and it's not an outlier, it's the pattern. I spent this week running human writing, AI writing, and everything in between through the 5 detectors that schools and editors actually use. Turnitin, GPTZero, Originality, AI, Copyleaks, and ZeroGPT. The pure AI text, mostly caught. The 100% human text, flagged again and again, formal, careful, professional writing punished for sounding too clean. And the truly disturbing part is the flip side. Lightly edited AI text slipped past the same systems that flag a chemistry journal article from 2019. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which detectors failed, which failed confidently, and the one thing you should start doing today if you're a student or a freelance writer. The scores will surprise you. One already surprised me.
Here's the experiment design because the methodology is where detector marketing hides. Every one of these tools advertises 99+% accuracy, and technically they're not lying. That number comes from feeding the detector obvious unedited chat GPT output and obvious human text. So I went harder with 4 text types. 10 purely human texts, published articles written before large language models existed. Though AI authorship is literally impossible. 10 purely AI texts generated with academic prompts untouched. 10 AI texts with light human editing the way a normal person actually uses a writing assistant. And 10 papers by non-native English speakers, real published research, second or third language. Each sample went through all 5 detectors, scores recorded, results compared against the known truth. The setup mirrors what independent benchmarks published this month found, including a 40-document academic test and a Stanford study, and the numbers line up almost perfectly. Spoiler, the accuracy on raw AI text ranged from 70 to 100% across tools. The accuracy on everything else is where this story gets ugly.
Result 1. The false positives, and they're bad. Across 20 human-written samples, 10 native English, 10 non-native, 45% scored, above 20% AI on at least one detector. 3 of them crossed 50%. On material written before AI existed. The wildest single score, a formal literature review from a chemistry journal, published years before Chat GPT, Turnitin's module, scored it 38% AI generated. GPTZero was the most aggressive overall. It caught 100% of raw AI text, but it also flagged 4 of the human-written texts and half the non-native English papers as predominantly AI. Its measured false positive rate in this testing, 12%. Think about what that means at scale. A detector that's wrong on 1 in 8 honest submissions, pointed at thousands of students. And here's the mechanism, because it matters. Detectors measure statistical patterns. How predictable the word choices are. How uniform the sentence rhythm. Well-organized academic writing has clear topic sentences, logical progression, consistent terminology. Careful human writing looks like AI because AI was trained to imitate careful human writing. The tools literally cannot tell imitation from the thing imitated.
Result 2 is the one that should genuinely anger you. Stanford researchers ran TOEFL essays, test essays written by non-native English speakers under exam conditions, through GPTZero. More than 60% were classified as AI generated. 60. In my 4-type test, the pattern repeated. 4 of 10 non-native papers scored above 20% on Turnitin, 1 at 52%. These are published researchers writing in their second or third language. The exact people whose work gets evaluated by these systems at universities and journals. Why does this happen? Not because their writing is bad. It's the statistics again. Second language writing tends to have lower lexical diversity, a smaller vocabulary of synonyms, since you lean on words you're sure of, and more formulaic structure, because you master templates before you master idiom. Those are exactly the signals detectors read as machine-generated. Lower entropy looks like AI. So the detector takes the signature of writing while multilingual and reads it as the signature of writing while a machine. There's a word for a system that produces systematically worse outcomes for one group of people regardless of their honesty, and it isn't screening tool. If you're a non-native speaker in academia right now, this isn't a hypothetical. It's a reason to keep every draft you've ever written.
Every detector in this test publishes a confidence number, and the gap between claim and reality is its own scandal. My favorite, Copyleaks advertises a false positive rate of 0.03%. Independent testing this year measured 7.2%. That is not a rounding error, that's 240 times worse than advertised. Copyleaks is also the only one with serious multilingual support, 30+ languages, which matters. Because accuracy in non-English content drops to the mid-70s, right back into false flag territory. ZeroGPT wins the Unreliability Award. In testing, running the exact same text twice returned meaningfully different scores 30% of the time. A breathalyzer that changes its mind every other use would never survive a court case. This is that as software, originality. AI actually came out best balanced in the academic test. 9 of 10 AI texts caught, only 1 human text flagged, about 74% overall accuracy. GPTZero markets a sub 1% false positive rate with independent research citing 0.7, and then flags 60% of TOEFL essays, which tells you the percent depends enormously on whose writing you test it with. Bottom line across all 5, on raw, unedited AI text, most score above 90%. On the messy real world of edited, formal, human, and second language writing, no tool crossed 80% overall. These are coin flips wearing lab coats.
And now, the failure nobody advertises. While 100% human writing was getting flagged, lightly edited AI text was strolling through the same detectors. In the academic benchmark, Turnitin's module caught 9 of 10 raw AI texts, but only 3 of 10 AI texts that had a human editing pass. 7 of 10 sailed past the tool your university probably uses. Copyleaks did best against edited AI and still missed more than half. So overlay the two results and look at the shape of it. A non-native speaker writing their own paper from scratch, flagged. A native speaker pasting AI output and adjusting a few phrases, cleared. The errors point in exactly the wrong direction. The systems are most confident when they are most wrong, and the people they fail are the people with the least institutional power to push back. That combination is why the accusation stories keep piling up. The PhD student, the freelancers losing clients over a percentage score. The students failed on evidence that wouldn't survive a statistics course. A detector can't prove authorship. It measures surface statistics. Using that number as a verdict is like convicting someone because their handwriting is neat.
So what do you actually do about this? 3 things, whether you're a student, a freelancer, or anyone whose writing gets scored. First, write where history is kept. Google Docs and Microsoft Word both timestamp every revision automatically. That version history, the messy middle drafts, the deleted paragraphs, the 2 a.m. rewrites, is the only actual evidence of authorship that exists, and it beats any detector score in any fair hearing. Second, keep your notes and rough drafts, especially for anything high stakes. An outline on paper, a voice memo, a terrible first draft, dated process artifacts are unfakeable in a way a final PDF never is. Third, and this is the counterintuitive one, do not try to beat the score. People discover they're flagged, panic, and run their essay through paraphrasers and humanizers until the number drops. Every pass makes the writing worse, wastes hours, and in some cases makes the text look more suspicious. The detectors measure statistics. You cannot reliably game a statistical guess, and you shouldn't have to. If you're accused, ask what tool was used, what its tested false positive rate is, the 7.2% number is public, and present your version history. And if you're an instructor or editor watching this, these are screening tools at best, never verdicts, never a basis for a hearing on their own.
Full picture, Every detector aces the easy test raw unedited AI output, and that's where the 99% marketing number comes from. On real writing, no tool in this test crossed 80% overall accuracy. 45% of purely human samples got flagged by at least one detector. A chemistry paper written before AI existed scored 38%. Stanford found more than 60% of non-native TOEFL essays classified as Copyleaks tested false positive rate is 240 times its advertised one. ZeroGPT can't even score the same text consistently. Meanwhile, edited AI text strolls through the same systems. The takeaway isn't that detection is useless, it's that a detector score is a lead, not a verdict. Keep your version history, keep your drafts, and never accept a percentage as proof. That's the whole defense.
Now I want to hear from you. Have you been falsely flagged, a paper, an article, a job application? Tell me which tool and what happened in the comments, because the more documented cases there are, the harder this gets to ignore. Subscribe for honest AI testing like this every week. No hype, just receipts. Thanks for watching and keep your drafts.